Hi guys, it's ARTvent here, and today I have ARTvent day 7 and we will make a vintage gift bag. So the bag like this, it's very convenient to wrap hard to wrap present. So I decided to alter one of those bags that I already had at home. So inside my bag I put a piece of chipboard covered with foil to avoid stickiness between layers of my material, and I started with a thin coat of clear gesso. Then before it's dry, I added a little bit of white gesso and I spread it together to have kind of whitish faded look. With clear gesso, I attached a few vintage book pages, and clear gesso will work perfectly as a glue if you allow it to dry naturally and you don't sticking anything heavy, but for book pages it's perfect. So to bring back the whiteness and make whole piece more cohesive, I applied a little bit of white gesso, and when I realized that it's too much, I just grabbed the dry brush and smudged it around to make it a little bit more even. And to add some texture, I added a few pieces of crinkled paper, and I also added nice coat of gesso on top of them. Those coats of gesso are really important because I will use some rusty powder and I don't want rust to soak into my material. With one of LNKS stencils and 30 knots white gesso, I'm using small jar because like always I'm forgetting about refilling myself. But this weekend I'm in 30 knots and I will refill my big jar, so the end of using small sample jars. Those straight edges around my stencil were bothering me with this project, so I just removed them with my palette knife, and now it's time to make the charm, and that's its main element of composition. It will be dangling on the piece of chain. So first I'm applying a layer of white splash ink, and then I'm starting to fill it. So I wanted to use this wow embossing powder, and you can melt it and use as Uti to fill your charms. So as you can see, first I figured out that I will do it with my heat gun, but it didn't work out so well. So then I decided to try it with the candle, but it didn't work either. So I just left it in the oven. And in the meantime, I will prepare some sparkles. So my sentiment will be just believe, and I thought that, sparkly background will be perfect fit, and I love those sparkles. So I'm using pieces of holographic foil and I'm melting them with my heat gun deep inside my charm base, so you can see a lot of sparkles. And yay, oven works. So I just applying a little bit of this mixture inside my charm and spread it with my heat gun. For more blink blink, I'm adding some embossing powder. It's not really good embossing powder, but it have glitter inside, so I can use it as a glitter, and I'm adding a little bit of Tommy's silver glitter. Oh, the sparks are amazing. And for my sentiment, I'm using trimmed out stickers from 30 knots, and I chose translucent ones because I want to see as much of the sparkles as I can. And it's time just to feel my charm, so I'm using heat gun, and this time it worked. It just melted the powder enough to be runny again. When you melt it again, it's a little bit easier. So to have nice even layer and nice even coat, I just warm it up and let it level. Yeah, and you can see that I have a lot of sparkles over there. So I went crazy with glitter on this one. I'm using 30 knots splash old silver glitter. And it's ink with glitter with clear dispersion. So I'm applying just really nice coat of this glitter, and then I dip it again in the same glitter that I use for charm and leave it for it dry. In the meantime, I can stamp a little bit on my bag because it's kind of boring and dull. So I took some LNKS stamps. Right now I'm using by Pasha sets, and I just stamped with block, with my hand, with Versamark ink here and there. It doesn't have to be perfect, it just to add some interest in the background. So I used mix of different stamps, and I just created some layer of interesting black shapes. And the stamps that I'm using first time, they are not prepared, so they not always give me the perfect impression first time. But if you prep your stamps, and the ones that I used before gave me really beautiful impressions. So, okay, to adhere all the elements, I will use gel medium, and I'm starting with lace. I distressed edge, and then I'm placing my metal elements. And all those elements have some kind of hole because I want to sew them to my project to make sure that when you put something inside and the bag will be not flat anymore, it will change the shape. So I want to be sure that they will not fall off. And the element on the bottom, it wasn't attached. I just check out how it's gonna look. So I'm started to sew, and everything was over the cam, so I just cut it off. But it's basically just using thread to attach some embellishments. So I think you can believe me that yeah, I did it myself. And then I'm going again with a little bit of gel medium, and I'm taking this amazing powder, and it's I think that it's iron powder or something like that. So I'm applying a little bit of this rust powder directly into my gel medium, and I'm just spreading it out with my small tool over here. I just want to be sure that I have on top a layer of powder that it's not coated with gel medium, because it will react a little bit different. The powders like this one give you perfect, natural, real rust. So I'm using here some solution. You can use vinegar water, but I like solutions because they change the color of the rust. And here I went with yellowish brown, so it will give me really dark, really nice rust. And I'm applying it on all the powder and spreading it out a little bit with my brush. But I'm really careful to not stain any kind of fabric that it's not coated with gel medium or clear gesso. So when my whole project was dry and the rust reacted, I left it for the night. It's time to attach all the dangling things. So I decided that it's not enough sparkles, and I bring some chandelier charms. And to attach my chains, I'm using 2 pairs of tweezers. I have them from jewelry making, and I just attach the single loops in chain into one of the loops that I have on my project, and then I just thread up part of elements into holes that all the elements had. When I was picking my elements, I paid attention for them to be attachable with threads into the bag, so then I can mask some of not maybe cool looking finishes with adding some embellishments. And I added here chandeliers and rusted bells. I really like them. I bought them last year in one of shops that I visited, and they add such a nice Christmassy vintage touch. They beautifully jingling, so whole project is definitely vintage and Christmassy, and I really like it. Thanks to this rust in the background, everything matches perfectly together. And that's all for today. I hope you like this project, and by the way, it's a part of my ARTvent event. So every day I'm posting either a video or live stream. There are coming some really crazy cool shaker cards, and probably 2 live streams during the weekend. and Monday. So check out the video description for more details. And from the last stream, I have ongoing contest and challenge, and I will put all the info in the description box for you as well, so you can try to win whole new Alice in Candyland collection that I decided for 30 knots. Okay, so it's over for today, and see you tomorrow. Bye.